This week, NYC Pride announced it is banning corrections and law enforcement officers from events, including the march itself.
Yeah, the decision has created some controversy. Joining us now to explain the reasons behind it is the interim executive director of NYC Pride, David Correa. Good morning to you, David. Thank you for being here.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
So let's get into it. You know, the announcement comes a little more than a month before the annual Pride March in June, where we would typically see NYPD officers on the sidelines as well as in the parade. So why remove them this year from the events?
I mean, these are conversations that have been happening for several years now with all stakeholders, with NYPD, with members of our community, with organizations like the Anti-Violence Project, and other Pride organizations like the Reclaim Pride Coalition. Last year, when NYPD clashed with peaceful protesters in Washington Square Park, our organization was called to task and called to the table and said, you have to do something. You have to stand up for queer people. We didn't take this lightly. So we met for over a year. We created a community council. We created a task force. And we addressed not just this issue, but several issues. And it came to be that we finally had to stand up and say there are marginalized members of our community that don't feel safe with the presence of NYPD. So this is a reduction in presence for us.
Okay.
But this has been extended. It's to 2025 now. And some folks would say, you know, that's quite a bit of time. And are wondering, could you have given it a little shorter of a time period so that you could see if the NYPD responds in kind and then there could be some kind of cooperation? Why extend it?
I think we want to give ourselves enough time to really have conversation. We've even had conversation with NYPD leading up to this decision. We had conversation with members of NYPD yesterday. We continue to talk to those other organizations that have implored us to make this decision. And it gives us an opportunity to really take a breath and see what we can do. We have a special circumstance in 2021. There will not be a full-fledged march. We are still maintaining the safety and security of our spectators as the highest priority. And with little time to prepare for what we typically do with millions of people on the street, we are taking it one step at a time.
So let me talk about, because, you know, just a few years ago, you guys were celebrating just how inclusive this parade could be, right? So the Gay Officers Action League, known as GOAL, they called the ban shameful. They released a statement saying, quote, Heritage of Pride is well aware that the city would not allow a large-scale event to occur without police presence. So their response to activist pressure is to take the low road by preventing their fellow community members from celebrating their identities, honoring the shared legacy of the Stonewall riots. So how do you respond, I guess, to the LGBTQ officers who want to march and are disheartened by the decision, saying now you're excluding us?
This was not an easy decision at all. This has been probably, for our organization, for myself included, one of the hardest times that we've ever had to go through. It's not personal. I have a brother who's a police officer. My nephew's a police officer. I've gotten to know members of NYPD who have become friends. I've gotten to know members of GOAL. But this is addressing a systematic issue, and nothing changes unless something changes. And it's not our intention to exclude anyone. When presented the option to join the march not in uniform, something that triggers members of the community, BIPOC, trans members of the community, people of color, that was not something that GOAL could guarantee.
David, what are you doing for security, though? Traffic control, any potential for emergencies? I mean, are you fully prepared for this without the NYPD?
Well, I think that's something that has gotten a little confused in the last couple days. By no way, shape, or form is this a police-free event. We don't have the jurisdiction to make a call like that. NYPD will step in where they need to step in. We are working with a private security company, and we're having discussions on where they stop and where NYPD picks up, and vice versa. We also are talking to organizations that specialize in de-escalation, so we can handle other issues that don't need a police presence at that time. But by no way, shape, or form could we produce the events to the scale that we produce them without NYPD being in the vicinity.
So you're saying that, just to go back to your goal point, that the Gay Officer Action League, they can march in the parade, just not in uniform.
That is what we offer them.
And but they want it to be in uniform.
Right.
Understood. Well, thank you for being here, and thank you for clarifying and having this conversation with us. We do appreciate you being here.
Yeah, thanks, Debbie.
Thank you.
And tomorrow,
Thank you very much.
Yes, tomorrow we will be joined by the Gay Officers Action League to get their perspective on this decision and how they plan to mark Pride Month. It is going to be a big month indeed, as it always is in New York City.